Hey Nick, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, Nick?
Yeah, nice. We're here at the Prism Circuit stand at Buchla And Friends. I've not seen this before. This is a kind of Serge-based system by the looks of things.
That's right. This is a Serge-based system. The name of this company is Prism Circuits. It's been around for about 3 years, and the idea here was to be able to create a modular system based on the 4U standard instead of the Eurorack standard, so it's a little bit bigger. And these are primarily based on the early electronic music circuits generated in the early 70s at Cal Arts here in Los Angeles by Serge Tcherepnin, who was a composer that wanted to be able to create an affordable modular synthesizer for students and avant-garde musicians and so forth, the folks that couldn't necessarily afford a Buchla system or a Moog modular system, but they still wanted to be involved in that kind of thing. And the idea was, and still is, that there are DIY printed circuit boards that you can take that are relatively simple circuits. You can solder them together yourself with resistors and capacitors and knobs, put them within the panels, and then be able to create whatever kind of modular system to the size that you want and the specification of the different types of modules that you want.
So you buy the faceplates, presumably. They're pre-silk screened, is that how it works?
It depends on which one it is, yes. You can either buy a blank faceplate. If you're creating your own bespoke system, you buy a blank faceplate, and then there are literally PDFs on the website. You can print them out in Photoshop and then be able to generate a piece of paper that gets glued onto the top of it.
Ah, okay.
This comes back.
Oh, that's old Serge.
This
style,
is old Serge.
Yeah.
It's called Paperface, and that's why it's called Paperface, is because you would be able to make your own design. And it doesn't have to be this hieroglyphic system. You could put a picture of your kid on there, you know, whatever it is that you want.
It is quite cryptic, isn't it? Let me turn this up a bit.
Yes,
so we
indeed.
can hear. This is a sort of self-generated patch. I don't pretend to know what the heck's going on because it is quite unfamiliar to me, and I know you didn't make this patch, so I know I asked you to demonstrate it. But I mean, so what would this looks like what, 2 of these cases?
This is 2 panels.
2 panels.
And this alone is called the Quasar system, and it is a bespoke system. The reason that it's silkscreen on here is because this is sort of one of the fixed systems rather than one that you can custom make yourself. And it's really designed for improvisation and live performance. So I have the same system, and it is by far my favorite performance instrument. I love going out and doing things with it. The reason why it looks so cryptic is there is this almost Egyptian hieroglyphic kind of language that was developed by Serge in the early 70s. All of these things actually mean something. So for example, something that has 2 triangles pointing outwards like that means that it's an input. And something that has got black banana jacks means that it is an AC output, whereas something with blue banana jacks means it's a DC output. And something with red jacks means that it's a pulse output. So the thing that's really nice about the way that this system works is once you learn the hieroglyphic language of what this means, it makes it incredibly easy to be able to learn all of the rest of the Serge modules because everything uses the same vocabulary.
Right.
The other thing that I really like about it from a user interface standpoint relative to Eurorack, where you have a lot of different manufacturers that each have their own aesthetic, they have their own art, they have their own method of moving knobs and dials and jacks and things around. One of the things that I like so much about Serge is everything is on a grid. So you have 6 points going down by 16 or 17 columns going across. And the result of that is that you have this very standardized format which everything has to work with, and it makes it easier to find whatever it is that you're looking for on the fly.
Right, gotcha. So what does a system like Quasar cost? What if it's a single panel or a double panel?
Sure. In general, each of these panels are on average about $2,500.
Right.
It depends upon what the particular components are. If it has a lot of expensive things like Vactrols or expensive chips, it might be a little bit more. If it's
so what you want in that Quasar panel is kind of up to you. You can mix and match to a degree.
What you want in any of these panels is up to you. The Quasar itself is a bespoke system,
right?
But all of the rest of them, it really depends on that. The thing to remember is that every one of these is handmade in the United States.
Right.
These are all through-hole components. There's no surface mount technology at all. These are made with love. Each one of them is a handmade instrument, and it's something that you will have for the rest of your life, rather than a here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing. At this point, there are several different ways of acquiring these things. You can go to the website, and you can, if your focus is on soldering and you like the DIY aesthetic, you can save yourself some money by just buying the PCBs, getting them, maybe the PCBs and a boat and a power supply and a blank panel, and then you can go home and you can make your own modular system in whatever you want. There's all sorts of assembly instructions up on the website, and if you really get stuck, you can always email technical support, who will be able to help you try to debug your problems online. So that's one method of doing it. Another method of doing it is describing exactly what format you want, emailing Prism Circuits, and they can make it for you exactly in that format and ship it out to you.
Right.
Another way of doing it is purchasing it from a couple of different synthesizer stores, with more stores coming online all the time. So the best place to buy it from a synthesizer store right now is Noisebug in Pomona.
Okay.
And their address is noisebug.net, I believe.
Yeah.
But you can go to the website at prismcircuits.net, and all of the information is there for you to be able to learn a lot more about these remarkable and wonderful instruments.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.